Hey, everybody. I know I usually what's usually? I've done this show twice. I usually sing a little song, but you know what? I'm having a bit of a crunchy day today. So that's why I named today's episode When the Going Gets Tough. I was supposed to have a guest. She's not there, and she just called me. So I just had to message her. But today's episode is called When the Going Gets Tough. And I'd love to ask you all about that. I was watching a program last night with RuPaul Charles, the famous drag queen, and it was on Netflix. And I have to say, actually, it was a pretty terrible show called AJ and the Queen, like basically a Hallmark series, mini series, but with drag queens. You know, I guess why not? And in this one, he was sharing a tool, quote unquote, where he was talking about sitting down at the end of each day and looking at your day and figuring out which was the rose and which was the thorn, because within every day you have parts that are a little tricky, a little challenging, a little difficult, and then parts that are the wonderful, fabulous things. I have a slightly different perspective. When you're having one of those days, and I got to be honest, I'm having one of those days. There are tools that you can use to make your life easier, have more peace with whatever it is that's going on for you. So I'm just going to hit do not disturb because I'm hearing all these bings and dings in the background. When I'm having one of those days, shutting all the things, just you, it's just you and me, okay? Just you and me right now. When I'm having one of those days and things don't seem to be turning out right, there's a few questions and tools that I use that make things so much easier. The first thing is, like the tendency when you're having a bad day is to try and fix it or like get away from it or make it right because it's obviously wrong to be having a hard time. But instead, I always find it's easier if you give yourself the time and the space to just like lean into it. Like instead of trying to fix it and have a great day and look on the bright side, instead just go like, you know what? I'm having a miserable time and I'm going to turn it up. I'm going to be as miserable as possible. Hey, Karen. We've got Karen watching and we've got Amanda. Feel free, guys, as you're watching, sing out in the comment section. You're free to ask questions or make comments, and I would love to answer them for you as part of this show. Love to have a chat. Instead of trying to look on the bright side of things, like I say, sometimes it's more fun and helps to just, instead of avoiding feeling crappy, lean into it, turn it up. It's like, make it as big as you possibly can. And as funny as that sounds, quite often that takes the charge out of it. It's like your resistance to experiencing a certain emotion is what gives it more power and more strength and more intensity. Hi there, Jackie. And hi, Annalise. So that's one of the things that I would love to share with you guys. When you're having a particularly shit time, turn it up. Yeah, absolutely. Like, the whole thing with positive affirmations or trying to see on the bright sides of things, it's all about fixing a problem. But what if nothing that was coming up for you actually was a problem? What if instead it was just a different energy or a different emotion? Like there's nothing wrong with having a difficult day. And sometimes the discomfort that it brings up is, for me, what inspires me to create a greater life. Like it's very easy to just ignore certain things. And I think sometimes that's what affirmations are doing, or when you're trying to see the rose and ignore the thorns. But I'd rather have the whole thing, the rose and the thorns, and neither of them be right and neither of them be wrong. They just are. So that's the first thing. Turn it up. Don't resist it. Indulge it. Go for it. Just go, you know what? I'm going to have a shit day today and I'm going to stamp my feet and I'm going to hide under a blanket and meh, everything sucks. Give yourself the freedom for that. And I think you'll probably find most of the time it dissipates pretty quickly. Okay. Now, another thing that I often do with when I'm feeling crunchy is there is this one question, which is, what's right about this? Yeah, I love that. And at least toxic positivity. And they tell you that you have to be happy. Nah, you don't have to be anything. Just be what you're being in the moment. Like, have you ever been in a relationship with somebody and or have a friend who tries to cheer you up, quote unquote, but that's you don't need cheering up because you're not broken. You don't need to be fixed or managed. You just need the space to be whatever you're being at the time. And that's the other side of it, is instead of trying to see on the bright side of things, this question that I'm using here, I often find quite helpful, which is, what's right about this that I'm not getting? You know, when you see everything as horrible and wrong, asking what's right about it is like not just seeing the positive, but if you reframed your point of view and looked at it from a really different angle, like instead of going, oh, this is wrong, I shouldn't be feeling this, like, how can you use it, or how could it be a contribution if it wasn't wrong? You know what I'm saying? So there's the two things to start with. Look, we're like 7 minutes in and you've already got two concrete things you can use. First is turn it up, lean into it, don't resist it. Second is, what's right about it that I'm not getting? You know, like, it's really easy when you have a shit situation or something bad happens to go, oh, this is terrible, this is wrong, this is awful, I must avoid that completely. But if you didn't try to avoid the negativity of it and instead went, okay, so what part of it is actually a contribution? You stop fixing problems. So what if you actually didn't have any problems? Like, most of us really don't. And in my point of view, none of us actually have problems. A problem isn't actually a problem. A problem is the result of a choice that you made that was motivated by a point of view that you have. And from what I can tell, everything in our lives is as it is because we've chosen it, and we chose it to prove our point of view as correct. Like, if you think that eating certain foods is going to react a certain way with your body, you will actually change your body chemistry to make sure that that is true and correct and right. Sounds crazy, but it is what it is. So Karen Wong says, I always avoid something I created that not feel right or feeling no good. What if you didn't have to, Karen? What if you weren't wrong for anything that you were feeling? It was just what you were going through at the time. Got some people texting in here. Up. Allowance. Yes, exactly. Allowance. And what is allowance? Allowance is not the money that your parents give you for doing your chores every week. Allowance is having no point of view about anything. And that is what creates resistance. Having a point of view about something is what creates resistance, like your resistance to a situation. And that's the other concrete, easy to apply tool that I'd love to give you guys, is having no point of view. In order for you to look at a situation and decide that it's bad or wrong, you have to have a point of view. So the next time something comes up or you have left a situation feeling really crappy, stop yourself and ask this: what point of view do I have about this that's making it feel bad? Or you can just say, interesting point of view that I have the point of view that this is bad. So Annalise says, after the Global Foundation and COP, I have been so cranky. Thank you for these reminders. They truly contribute. Yeah, see, what Annalise is talking about is some access consciousness classes that occur all around the world. I do tons of them, like 5, 6 of them a month, and they make my life beyond what I ever thought it could be. It is so much more peaceful, pragmatically functional, and it just keeps getting greater and better all the time. So she's done 2 big classes, and she says after that she's a little cranky. Now, my experience with that is that usually occurs because your awareness and your allowance are a little out of sync or a little out of step. So what you could do is ask your allowance to catch up with your awareness. It's not a how. You don't need to figure out how to do it. You just need to ask and allow it to occur. So yeah, so just every time that you find yourself a little cranky, just ask, do I need a little more allowance here? And again, allowance is having no point of view about something. So Karen says, how can I deal with the shits I created in the past, not really like to face it right now? Okay, so yes, exactly, Fatima. Ask for an update of your allowance. It's just like updating the software on your phone. Just ask for your allowance to increase, because sometimes when you are so aware and your awareness increases dramatically, things can be a little more intense and a little more full on for you, and your patience may start to disappear. So just ask for your allowance to increase. Now, Karen says, how can you deal with the shits you've created in the past? You don't really like to face it right now. Look, your life is going to be so much easier if you just face it. And again, allowance is what you can use to face it and it not be so difficult. Anything you put off and you try to avoid and like force into your past and you don't want to deal with, you're just giving it more and more power and letting it grow. If you'll just look at it right now and deal with it, it's so much easier, I promise. And with this tool again of interesting point of view, just look at what you've created as shit and say this to yourself. Interesting point of view, I've created this as shit. And then see what changes. Like sometimes the problems that you have or the things that you've created may seem like overwhelming, like just too much for you to deal with all at once. And I always find getting more organized or just taking it a piece at a time, it's so much easier to handle. And believe me, the universe will never give you anything you can't handle. And that's another reminder that I use all the time is the universe never gives you more than you can take. So ask yourself that. Have I decided I can't handle this? There's nothing you can't handle. The only things you can't handle are the things you've decided you can't handle. Sorry, but it's true. I'm giving it to you true. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this has helped me a lot because, like I say, I wasn't having the best day. I had to have some pretty intense conversations with some people about some things going on with our business. And this has helped me because you got to remember, it's just a point of view. If you're willing to get over your point of view and have allowance for whatever is, you can change anything. I'm glad it was a gift to you, Annalise. Is a gift to me too. Usually these go a little bit longer, but I've got quite a bit happening today, so I'm going to have to run. But one of the things that's happening today, I'd love to invite you guys to. So we have a thing every month called a Clarity Night, and we run it live from the Antique Guild, which is our shop here in Brisbane. And it is a Clarity Night is basically a deep dive conversation into one particular topic. So this month we're talking about entities, which is kind of like ghosts, but it's beings without bodies. And this month, that's what we're doing. I'm just going to try and find it for you here so I can share with you the, yep, I found it. I can share with you the link if you want to join us. It's in about 5 hours and 15 minutes. We'll be starting. And there's the link if you want to join us. It's 50 Australian dollars to come online, which is about 35 euro roughly. And we would so love to have you there. We have languages translated for Mandarin, Turkish, Russian, Japanese. Love to have you there. This month, as I say, we're talking about entities, and it'll last about an hour. And you can ask anything you want about that topic. So I'm going to sign off for today, ladies and gents. Just a quickie today, because I've got other meetings to run to. But glad we got to stop and have this chat. Join us next week at the same time. Bye, everybody.